Hi, this is Christina with Treasure Books of Georgia, and I'm here with my 37th journal to do a flip through. This journal is mainly focused on autumn items or autumn things. There are 3 signatures. One is just leaves, another one is pumpkins, and another one is coffee, spice, lattes, that kind of stuff for a fun signature. The little bit of housekeeping, she's 9 inches long and about 6.5 inches wide. The material that you can see, there's 3 different sets of material that I used, actually 4 different sets, and they're all from the Tim Holtz palette collection. I left the back blank because I think it's just such a beautiful piece of material. On the side, you've got a 3-inch spine, and there is a dangle here that you can remove if you'd like. Okay, she is held together, and she's quite fluffy. That's the way that I like to make them, but she's held together with 2 strips of cloth, of canvas cloth, that I've done a little bit of stamping in. Okay, so we will get started here. The first card here, this is the 37th journal, and I've got the date that it was created. As I mentioned, there are 3 signatures, and each of the signatures I'm doing something a little differently. I'm using some vellum that I've done a digital print on, and then sewing it to a piece of craft cardstock. Inside, we've got some mixed media, some stamping. And I use pieces of the material from the front to do an edging on the side. And I was at the thrift store and found this netting, which was perfect, lovely orange fall color to make a little belly band. And here you have definition of buttercup and a nice little journaling card and a little snippet that says little things. Here, this is a pumpkin that I did not draw the pumpkin, but I've colored it in, and I've made just a couple little journaling cards that fit inside the pumpkins. And here I saw another creator do this where she put some jump rings on a digital and then filled it with glossy accents, let it dry overnight, and then I fussy cut them out. But they're so cute. You can do that. It's a very easy process. Here we have another journaling card that I did just some collage on. You've got a couple of tickets and a little diamond there, and a nice little place for you to do a collage. And here, again, this staying with our pumpkin theme, I did these digitals. I ran them through the laminator, and then there's some cards in here that I've collaged. But I love blue. Blue is my my absolute favorite color, but there's all the blue pumpkins. Let me put that back where it belongs. And then you have the little digital, pumpkin digital here that you can write on, but there's your digital, and just you can put that anywhere in the book that you would like. I'll put that back, actually I'll leave it there. And then some beautiful blue edging down the side, and this is a dyed, this piece of material, it has been dyed out in the sun. And then another pumpkin here with a couple of pumpkin cards, journaling cards. Some gorgeous lace that matches the red in the fall colors here. Another little orange pumpkin, little snippet that says create, and then a little, I think this is, yes, a couple of little journaling cards there. Then I took a digital from the work that I was doing, and I ran it through not the digital, I'm sorry, I printed the digital on vellum, sewed it to a piece of paper with some cardstock in the back, and it says the most beautiful thing, and inside you've got a beautiful journaling card with another digital that's been sewn to a piece of cardstock. And here I believe this, I'm not sure where I got this digital from, but it's just a triple pocket here, actually 4 pockets, and you've got a little something in each one of the pockets, and I just did some stamping, and then some stamping in the background. I love this digital. I think it's so pretty. Just took one of the digitals and reduced it and made a little charm out of it. And over here we have some pieces, and I believe this is I want to say 52, a report card for somebody. And then an old letter from 1968. And, and another thing, this was from a book that I got at a vintage store for just basically pricing antiques. And this was, I think it was 1973. And this all fits in a pocket here on the side that I've done some mixed media and some spraying on. And here's the other half of that particular card. You've got a copy, and this is a check. It was written actually in pencil from 1937. You've got a little journaling card, and this was a very old piece of paper, and from 1919. And that all goes, oops, careful, careful. That's a very fragile piece of paper. There, beautiful digital here. This I got at a thrift store, a whole bunch of this ribbon, I guess, or trim. I just think it's absolutely gorgeous. And this is a copy from a magazine, and from Norman Rockwell. And I believe it is early 1900s. Actually, maybe a little later, because we've got a soldier here. But and then you've got a writing space on the back. Left this blank, so there are plenty of blank places here for you. And here's some more of that particular netting that I mentioned before. And so what I did is I attached, these are the tattered leaves from Tim Holtz, and there's little journaling cards in each one. And then you lift it up, and this is out of a book that I've got called Florology, and it's a nice big print, and I just thought that was pretty, kind of neat the way that's covered up. And then I folded it over, and so then you've got another journaling card here, and it says, "Preserve this keepsake." The digital that I printed on newsprint, I just love the feel of that. And, oh, isn't that gorgeous? Gorgeous, gorgeous pumpkin. And here in the center, I printed this on vellum, and you can kind of see the other pumpkin from that side, and on this side, kind of match the blue. And here this, I just did a bunch of collage on this, and that's just paper clip to the top. And then over here, again, something I picked up I do a lot of thrifting, so I found this in the thrift store. It says, "I am happy." A little journaling card there, and I did some collage on this, and so you've got a little pocket there, and then you can write on the back. And here are just some extra lace that I had with a button and a little pumpkin there, and a thing that just says home. And again, this is blank. Beautiful, beautiful. And this probably, we'll just assume that most of this is from the thrift store. And it says, "Trust the process." And you've got this gorgeous digital and some writing space on the back of it. And it slides right in there. And then I just did some stamping, not stamping, but some sprays. And again, another little pumpkin charm. Oh my gosh, a whole bunch of stuff in here. So this, actually, I think I must have gotten this maybe from Taperology, and I just reused the envelope. And so you've got a little, paper here that kind of matches the colors that we were doing. And it fits, I'm sorry, I'm out of frame. And that fits in this little belly band here. You've got a bill from 1972 from Mountain Bell. And then this was a piece of a journaling card. And this, I want to say, I don't actually know the date on this. I'll have to look back and see what the date of that was. And then you've got a beautiful postcard. And Birken, I think I looked that up. Norway, there it is, printed in Norway. And that all goes in that, it's a double pocket here. Okay. And then more spraying, most likely with Lindy's Magicals. And then at the end, this is a flower that I had dried, and then I laminated. And you've got a little pumpkin journaling card here, this beautiful blue paper. And then a little journaling card here. And then I resined a piece of lace, in this with some orange. Isn't this the cutest trim down the side? That is probably Hobby Lobby. And then I just took the leftover pieces of the other trim, put it together for that. And then we've got some mixed media, and that brings us to the end of the pumpkin section. And here is our coffee latte pumpkin. My preference is Frappuccino, but everybody has their own. Just some mixed media with some coffee drips there. And then a couple of, looks like lattes here, and we've got a journaling card. And it says, with your hair up in a bun, drink some coffee and handle it. And another journaling card there. This side we've got a little pocket, and I believe we've got, yes, just some ephemera. This is not vintage. And then it's held together with a wax seal. And inside you've got, I believe this is your coffee digital, and then on both sides, but you can put it anywhere in the journal that you would like, or write on it. There's plenty of blank space for you. And then I just did some stamping in the on the inside of the envelope, and that just goes back with that little wax seal. Sorry, let me get that back. We will put that back in a minute. Again, more coffee digitals, or you could put tea if you're not a coffee drinker. And then a little piece of ephemera. This is probably from, I believe this is from Tim Holtz. A little card there, and this gorgeous, gorgeous digital. I love this paper. There's your tea. I think that's probably a lemon slice. And then you've got just a little charm, and this, I think this just says handmade, and really, really pretty lace. And I believe this is the lace I got at the thrift store. And then just printed digitals of coffee. And this was something I found, and it talks about, you know, I think the past versions of me that get together for coffee, they talk about who I used to be and how I overcame all that was thrown at me. And I just added some coffee rings to the bottom of that. I'll put that back. Beautiful digitals. This was, believe I did this on the paper that was dyed. You've got a little envelope with little goodies in there. And this was, I took a piece of the material and resined it, and just kind of made a little charm, which I think turned out really pretty. But you can take that off and put anywhere that you want, or probably even turn it into a necklace if you wanted. Again, more of the digitals. And here is a card. You can either use this as a journaling card, or you can mail it to somebody. But this is a card. I made this on, I believe, watercolor paper. And includes a little envelope if you want to mail it out to somebody. And then this is hard to see, but I stamped this in bronze, and it says, "Have a nice day." Digitals, again, more blank pages. Oh, isn't that gorgeous? And then our center is, again, just a beautiful cup of coffee that's printed over the below, or kind of shows through that digital below, kind of shows through the vellum. And here's our waterfall. So it untucks from here, and then you can flip it up, and you've got writing space all throughout. And I just love doing these. I just think they are just so much fun. Then you've got a little, probably like a latte, a little whipped cream there, a little card, and then a little stamp of a coffee cup there. And then over on the other side, so the waterfall strap falls all the way over here, and this is just a bunch of mixed media. And then there's a little something in there, and you've got a little tag on this side that fits in there. More some blank pages here for you. Oh, digital is so gorgeous. I love this little, just a little bit of trim blue, picks up the little blue flower here. Blank page. That looks so inviting. I love it. And then here, oh, I always forget this one. So I took one of the digitals and printed it on a card. So you have, oops, you're out of frame here, sorry. A huge place that you can journal. And then there's a bunch of places down here that you can also, some blank things that you can journal there. Put that back. And then I stamped, I believe this is from Tim Holtz, a bunch of coffee cups. And then I put a black embossing powder over it. And then this is just a little charm, little key. And inside we have, I believe, just a cup of coffee and then places for you to journal there. I'm going to leave that here so I can remember where it goes. Another digital, a blank page. Oh, love that color. And then you've got a little, I'll leave that there, and then a little sparkly charm. Places for you to journal here. And then change the world, start with coffee, a little stamp. And I did, I believe it's gold embossing powder over that. And then this is just a beautiful cup of coffee and places for you to journal. And I believe that brings us to the end of the coffee and latte and pumpkin spice section. And here, a little token says Journal 37. And this starts our leaves and flowers section of fall. Beautiful. Look at that lace. Isn't that gorgeous? Here is just a copy of an old card that you can journal on. And I just thought it matched the colors that we were doing. I had some leftover vellum, and I turned this into a little pocket. And then this was printed on newsprint, this beautiful lace that we used down the side. Another little vellum pocket, so you can have a tuck spot there, and inside there's some goodies. Another leaf that I had dyed and laminated. It says every artist was first an amateur. And then you've got some mixed media index card here. Some more, this is cheesecloth that I did some spraying on. And then I took from the material that's on the front cover, and I just made it, kind of scrunched it up to make a belly band. And then you've got the tattered butterfly. And this is an original envelope that's not been used. And I think this is, somebody will correct me. I don't know if this is German or Switzerland. But anyways, just beautiful, beautiful stamps. And just a blank envelope. Warm bread, that's a good fall comfort food. And you've got a triple, kind of a waterfall or pockets. It says, for the wondrous beauty. And then you've got little tuck spots in each one of them, little journaling cards. And this was a napkin that I did some decoupage on and turned it into a journaling card, and a lovely little button, and I thought it matched this lace. Gorgeous. Another little tattered butterfly holds a little journaling card, and another little journaling card, and just a tiny bit of collage on there, and then a little butterfly and a little button there, or a little charm there. Another tattered butterfly. Some mixed media, beautiful, beautiful colors. And this is a vellum pocket. Sorry, let me try to get that out of there. And this is just a journal full of blank pages and gorgeous digitals. And it goes in, again, in that little journal, or where I've done some vellum over that little pocket. And this, you can untie this. So it's a bunch of blank paper that I've dyed. So there's several pieces front and back. So you may want to take that out and make it a little less bulky, but then you've got some blank pages to put anywhere that you want in the journal. Oh, look at that lace. Gorgeous. This is just something I took out of a magazine, thought the colors matched. And then you've got a postcard, Thanksgiving greetings, and this is from 1913. And that goes in there. Again, dyed paper. A couple of collages and some tags here on either side. Again, Journal 37. And then here's our center printed on vellum. And again, a couple of more pockets and lots of places, little journaling cards. And then you've got this tiny little tags that fit in those little leaves. Oh, isn't that gorgeous? Gorgeous, gorgeous. And then a little ruffle at the bottom, but it's a journaling tag. And then you've got pockets here, and this is, I just did some collage. I think this is, yes, on vellum. I sewed it on a card, on cardstock, and then another card, and then a couple of tickets that are tucked in there. This is from, I believe, 1942 hymnal book. So there's an official, a vintage piece of paper there. And this is from my friend in India. Again, some packing paper. Did some tags down the bottom here. Trust the process. I just love those digitals. I thought they're so pretty. And another tattered butterfly. And then just a little something for whoever, a little surprise for someone who ever buys the book. Be kind to all the past versions of you. They are the soul which you now bloom. And I did some stamping in there. You can write on the back of that. There's lines. This lace, which is gorgeous. And then I dyed it, sprayed it. And then this was just from an old greeting card. But I thought it worked really well in our journal. And again, this is from printing on newsprint. In the very end, and I just took a piece of vellum that I had done something else on and put it over a card that had butterfly, and that fits nicely in that little butterfly. And again, a couple of journaling cards on the inside. I believe that matches. I might have skipped that, but I think that matched somewhere. Oh yes, here. You've got a couple of journaling cards here, so they kind of match. And that brings us to the end. But as you know, I make my journals really fluffy, and I ended up with an extra signature, which will go with this book. So there's a total in this particular book of 192 pages front and back. And this one has 64 front and back. So total about 256 pages in this journal. So I just took some beads along the side, named it Memories. And this one, I didn't put as much in there. There's still a lot. You've got a vellum pocket and a tag and some newsprint. But I kind of left the edging not as decorated so that you could fill that in. And here's another a card that I've made, and that just fits. It's a little vellum belly band. This was printed on some of the papers that I had dyed. This I got out of a vintage book on how to plant sunflowers, if you're interested. And I just made this little belly band. And I just thought this was just a fun extra journal. It's got a gorgeous center with leaves. Isn't that beautiful? And just gorgeous digitals. So that also, it's enclosed the same way as the other one. Other signatures there. And then finally, a writing book that's just got a cup of coffee and stacked on books. But that's it. Thank you so much. I'm sorry if this ran too long. I do apologize for that. But there was so much to show you. This will be listed in my Etsy shop, and I appreciate you watching. Thank you, and have a great week. Bye.